Welcome to Austria for rounds 15 and 16 of the 2015 TCR International Series. I should say welcome back, because it was 6 weeks ago that we were at the Salzburg Ring. This time it's the Red Bull Ring in the east of the country. We're around 200 kilometers southwest of Vienna, if you're trying to place us on a map. And the Red Bull Ring made its appearance on the F1 calendar in its present form for the first time last year. And Formula One, the Austrian Grand Prix, was here a couple of weeks ago. But it's touring car action this weekend, a slightly different look to the timetable, but two races for you, two 60-kilometer races as per usual, but not the usual back-to-back format that we've become used to over the last couple of months. But it's one race this morning and then one race just before lunchtime. So two races, rounds 15 and 16 at this 4.326-kilometer circuit. Just 9 corners, but quite a technical circuit in places, as you'll see. And quite a lot of action, I'm sure, particularly in the opening lap or two. The Red Bull Ring, extremely well known in racing terms. It's been known by a number of names over the years. It's been known as Zeltweg. It's been called the Österreich Ring, the A1 Ring, and in its current format, which opened in 2011, the Red Bull Ring. And I'm sure I don't need to tell you why. Lots to tell you, though, about the action this weekend. We've a number of new names. There are a few of them at the bottom of your screen there, 40, 41 and 42. It's Gabriele Marotta, the 47-year-old from Monaco, Michela Cerruti, who becomes only the second lady driver in the TCR International Series, and you also saw the name of Paul Rosé from Spain, currently leading the Seat Leon Euro Cup, and is here for a very special reason. If you've been following the series on social media, you'll know all about the new cars that are here. That is our championship leader, Stefano Comini, winner last time out 3 weeks ago in Sochi in Russia. And you see a little note on his car saying hello to Michel Nukia, car 17. Michel, by the looks of things, will play no further part in the TCR International Series this year, which is a huge shame. Michel, one of the characters, one of the gentlemen of the series, and you see there 7th in the drivers' points table, but Michel Nukia missing from the entry list in the Red Bull Ring, and as I say, uncertain whether we see Michel later in the season. Stefano Comini then leads the drivers' points table, a 4-point advantage over Pepe Oriola. A miserable weekend in Russia for Gianni Morbidelli. He slipped from the lead of the series down to 3rd place, and Jordi Genet in 4th. Pole position and winner of race 1 in Sochi. He is breathing down the neck of Gianni Morbidelli. Those drivers desperate for a good result, at least one race here in Red Bull Ring in Austria. And, well, there's a fair few dramas to tell you about. The Hondas, which we'll talk about, I suspect, in a few minutes when we see the grid. There they are. On the right of your screen, Gianni Morbidelli, who'll be only too happy to forget Sochi. He starts race 1 from pole position. Alongside him on the left of your screen is his teammate Kevin Gleeson. And the Hondas really not having, there is Morbidelli. The Hondas really not having a good day yesterday. Morbidelli kind of there or thereabouts, but Gleeson really nowhere until the 2-part qualifying session. In qualifying 1, he was all over the place. The team really unable, it seemed, to get a decent setup in the car. And whatever they did between Q1 and Q2 clearly worked, because in Q2, right at the end of the session, he popped in a time that was good enough for 2nd on the grid. And that's our current weather. Temperatures yesterday in the low 30s, and then an amazing thunderstorm swept across the track at about 9 o'clock last night. The air nice and fresh this morning. We were expecting temperatures to climb, though, ready for the 2nd race. And Morbidelli complaining yesterday about track conditions, about the slippery tarmac, and was saying that this morning the situation could be even worse, because we're here thanks to our new friends at the European Le Mans Series. They found space for us in their calendar, and this race, you may recall, is a replacement for the 2 rounds which were due to be held at Buenos Aires in Argentina. A switch from Argentina to Austria, and as I say, it's the fact that the European Le Mans Series found space not only for the 2 races, but for free practice 1 and 2 and for the qualifying session, and so we're eternally grateful to them. They've been extremely good hosts. They've looked after us very well this weekend, and so thank you to them. The drivers then set off on their warm-up lap. And as I was saying, the biggest news, apart from some of the new drivers, are the cars you saw there in the middle of your screen. We'll talk about them, I dare say, as the race goes on, but let's just confirm the grid first of all. An all-Honda front row, West Coast Racing 1 and 2, Morbidelli from Gleason. Then another surprise, Daniel Nagy, 17-year-old from Hungary. First race outside Hungary from what we can make out, third on the grid. Alongside him, Stefano Camini. Then it's the two Craft Bamboo Lukoil cars, Sergei Avanassiev and Pepe Oriola. Andrea Bellicchi and Jordi Genet, row 4. Mikhail Grachev and Paul Rosé, that we'll see in a moment. There they are, and you'll see the badges say Volkswagen. And that's the other big news of the weekend, that we have a brand new car, a new brand entering the TCR International Series. And there they are, you see in the middle of your screen. Two Volkswagen Golfs joining the series from this round onwards. Volkswagen Motorsport dipping their toe, they're telling us, evaluating a possible customer racing program for 2016, and so they've teamed up with the Lukoil, Liqui Team Enschler operation run by Franz Enschler. They were hoping to get their Golfs, they've got them, and they will have them for the remaining 4 rounds of the series to evaluate whether the car can be produced for customers next year. We'll, of course, keep our fingers crossed. But yesterday, they made a cracking start to that campaign. And in fact, Paul Rosé from Spain, quickest in free practice 2. In fact, as I say that, it was actually Mikhail Grachev, excuse me. I reach for my bit of paper. It was Mikhail Grachev who scored his best result of the season in Sochi 3 weeks ago by finishing 3rd. He was quickest in free practice 2, and then the conditions, it seemed, deteriorated, caught out quite a few drivers, and the two Volkswagens, whether it was by luck or by design, qualified 9th and 10th, which means that for the reversed grid for race 2, they will start from the front row of the grid. Paul Rosé on pole, and we'll see him at around 11:30 local time this morning with Mikhail Grachev alongside him on the grid. But let's concentrate for the moment on race 1. And there are the two Hondas, Morbidelli and Gleason. There is Nagy, the slightly surprised 17-year-old, you have to say. Lots of advice, lots of warnings for him coming from various drivers last night, saying enjoy the moment, but just watch yourself in that run up to the first corner, because it's all very well qualifying when you're on your own, but when you're in the hurly-burly of the race, anything can happen. There are the two Golfs, Grachev, the right of your screen, and Rosé on the left in the number 42 car, with Lorenzo Veglia just behind. And there you see, bringing up the rear, the white Ford Focus of Pro Team, Diego Romanini. Didn't complete the qualifying session yesterday, but the stewards saying that he can take the start. And the fact that they're here at all is, I think, a tribute to the engineers and mechanics from Pro Team, working long into the night this week. The car's been handicapped from the beginning of the year, really, because of the gearbox. They've made the decision to change to a racing box, and they were working, so I'm told, until 3 a.m. for most nights this week in the build-up. They only got here at 10 o'clock on Friday night, and the car having some kind of overheating problem and also issues with that new gearbox yesterday, but the car is able to take the start. The one car that is missing, which is a shame, the Campos Racing Opel Astra, was on the entry list right until the last minute, and the car apparently having engine problems and so being withdrawn at the last minute. But all being well, it will rejoin the series after the summer break for the rounds at Singapore in September. So 15 cars on the grid. Igor Shkuz there on the right, taking his position with Romanini, starting from the back of the grid. We're waiting for the green flag. There it is. Morbidelli having admitted yesterday that his starts aren't the best. Formula One lights, so it'd be 5 lights on. They all go off, and there we are. It's probably a better start, it looks like, from Kevin Gleason on the left of your screen. Indeed it is. Gleason gets ahead of Morbidelli. And already Nagy having dropped to 4th behind Camini. Camini nudging Morbidelli. No love lost between these two. And indeed, it's Camini who gets past Morbidelli. Avanassiev takes a wide line coming through turn 1. The long uphill slog up to turn 2. And it's Gleason who leads from Camini, with Morbidelli already coming back, having a look, but it's a right-hander at turn 2. So it's Gleason from Camini, Morbidelli, Oriola, Avanassiev, then Bellicchi. And everyone, it seems, through turn 2 cleanly, and Comini having a look up the inside of Gleeson. Is the lead about to change hands? I think it is. Comini has the inside line for the right-hander, and it looks like Morbidelli also coming up the inside. Indeed it has, so Comini goes up into the lead, Morbidelli into second place. Gleeson drops to third, then it's Oriola, and then Afanasiev. So an incident-packed first couple of corners, the lead changing hands a couple of times, but Comini will be more than happy, and as Pepe Oriola has a look up the inside of Gleeson, but no, can't make it stick. Comini, if you saw the preview video, the highlights video on social media last night, Comini not at all happy about the Hondas, alleging all sorts of tricks, and the fact that it was a bit of a pantomime. They're playing. He said that Oriola dives up the inside of Gleeson, so Gleeson loses, as does Afanasiev. It's Beliki. Whoa, Nagy gets it sideways in the background, and I think that was just pure exuberance on the part of the 17-year-old. Got it sideways coming out of that corner. Hopefully we'll see the replay. There it is, and there is Nagy coming back in, just making contact, I think, with one of the Golfs. But Daniel Nagy, 17 years of age, started from third of the grid and unfortunately doesn't make it to the end of lap 1. Jordi Genet has a look at the inside of Beliki, but no, indeed, Beliki stays with it. Beliki, though, has Kevin Gleeson alongside him as we look at Daniel Nagy. No sign of yellow flags or anything at the moment, no sign of a safety car, but they will need to recover Nagy's stricken Seat. But on lap 2 of 14 here at the Red Bull Ring, Stefano Comini leads from Gianni Morbidelli, Pepe Oriola, Kevin Gleeson, Andrea Beliki, Jordi Genet in 6th, then Afanasiev, Grachov in the first of the Volkswagens, then Rosé, then Michele Ceruti, 10th, having just lost that position, as I say it, to Lorenzo Veglia. Then Diego Romanini up to 12th in the Ford, with Marotta and Schuz bringing up the rear. Nagy having collided heavily with the barrier at turn 9. You can see from that shot the changes in elevation. The yellow flags are out, but no sign of a safety car or anything to help recover the Seat. As we look at the battle for the lead, Morbidelli all over the back of Comini's car as they take the long slog uphill to turn 3, the right-hand hairpin. Morbidelli telling me yesterday this is probably one of the best overtaking spots of the circuit. He moves out to the right line, but Comini holds the inside. Beliki also took a look up the inside, but decided better of it. So it's still Comini, Morbidelli, Pepe Oriola, Gleeson, then Beliki, Genet, Afanasiev. Then it's the two Volkswagens, Grachov and Rosé, Veglia 10th, Ceruti 11th, Romanini 12th, and Marotta and Schuz 13th and 14th. Between these two, it was at Monza that Comini had his outburst about Morbidelli, about his tactics, and Morbidelli preferring to keep a dignified silence at the Salzburg Ring 6 weeks ago, and Comini telling us, Gianni, I don't mind if you take me off, but do it from the side, not from behind. The marshals attending then to Daniel Nagy's car, so just yellow flags covering that recovery. So turn number 1, this almost 90-degree uphill right-hander at turn 1. Stefano Comini still leads from Gianni Morbidelli. Pepe Oriola a respectful distance behind, wondering what's going to happen with this scrap between the pair. Oh, A little bit of squirreling under braking from Comini. Contact between the pair, we could see that coming. But indeed, Comini keeps the place as Oriola takes advantage and moves up into second place. That keeping his distance worked, but has Morbidelli got the line for... No, indeed he hasn't. Oriola has the line for the right-hander, so Morbidelli now down to third place. Second place changes hands. Comini still leads, but now it's Pepe Oriola who's in second from Gianni Morbidelli. It's Beliki who's fourth. Ahead of Gleeson, so fourth place has changed hands as well. Fifth is Gianni. There's confirmation. Comini then from Pepe Oriola, from Morbidelli, from Beliki, from Gleeson. Let's just have a look at that contact again. Comini just braked ever so slightly, lost it under braking, and there's just the slightest of touches from Morbidelli. Comini gets it sideways, but I dare say there'll be words exchanged between the pair at the end of the race. But it's Comini from Oriola and Morbidelli, these three battling not just for the race win, but for the Drivers' Championship. Oriola just takes a little look. Now, was that serious, or was that just to put the pressure on Comini? It doesn't seem to have worked. Comini holds his nerve and the line, and we're on lap 5 of 14. Let's look back at the start. And Gleeson, you have to say, made a far better start than Morbidelli, who admitted at the press conference yesterday that starts haven't been his strongest point over the last few race meetings, and it was Comini who took full advantage to sneak through into second place behind behind Gleeson, excuse me. But it is Gleeson who's now dropped into 3, 4, 5, fifth place from leading going into turn 1. Comini then from Pepe Oriola, from Morbidelli. Beliki in 4th, Gleeson 5th, Gianni 6th, Avanasiev 7th, Grachov 8th, Rosé 9th, Valia 10th. And those are the drivers in the point-scoring positions at the moment. Cerruti 11th, Romanini 12th in the Ford. And just as I say that, Skuz overtakes the Focus, so it's now Igor Skuz. Qualified 11th, but dropped, in theory, 5 grid places after an incident involving Baskouten in the Salzburg Ring. Skuz, as you recall, missing Sochi. Now this is the moment at which Comini overtook Morbidelli, just getting up along the inside, getting past Gleeson, excuse me, with Morbidelli coming up alongside as well. Comini then from Oriola at the end of 5 laps. Morbidelli 3rd, Beliki 4th, Gleeson 5th, Gianni 6th. That's how it's been for a lap or two now. Morbidelli now concentrating on getting past Oriola. Oriola goes wide. Has that just opened the door enough for Morbidelli? Yes, it has. Morbidelli just goes past on the inside at turn 2, excuse me. They head down to the tight right-hander at turn 3. Extremely risky overtaking point from what Morbidelli was saying, as Beliki also squeezes past Oriola. Just as I was saying that Morbidelli was describing that place as one of the more tricky places to overtake on the circuit. As Gleeson also has a look at Oriola. One of the few places, turn 3, where there is lots of gravel around, and that gravel will penalise the unwise. So that's where Morbidelli passes Oriola, just squeezes him out. Oriola left the door just a fraction too wide, wisely, leaving just enough room there on the exit of the corner. And that's the scrap between Gleeson and Gianni now, with Afanasiev in the orange and black roof stripes just behind his teammate. Across the start-finish straight at the end of lap 6. Comini then from Morbidelli, from Beliki, from Pepe Oriola. As the two Golfs swap places, Rosé passes Grachov. Rosé, the winner here a week ago when the Seat Leon Euro Cup was here. He won the series last year, currently leads the Leon Euro Cup, and has also done a lot of the development work in the Volkswagen Golf. And we'll be talking a lot about the Golfs, I suspect, in race 2, because they occupy both of the front row positions on the grid. Andrea Bellicchi, unfortunate victim of an incident in Sochi 3 weeks ago. So Bellicchi will be looking for useful points to get back into the hunt for the Drivers' Series here at the Red Bull Ring. But at the moment, he's down in 3rd place, scrapping with Pepe Oriola, who must be kicking himself for just leaving a fraction too much of a gap and allowing Morbidelli to squeeze past. So we're back to the situation we were in 3 or 4 laps ago, where it's the two rivals, Comini and Morbidelli, 1st and 2nd. Bellicchi unable to help his teammate because he's involved in a scrap of his own with Pepe Oriola. Gleeson in 5th with Genet all over the back of his car. Vassiev just waiting to see if he can benefit at all from any incident between the two. Halfway stage in the race, 7 laps gone, 7 remaining. Rosé, for some reason we didn't see, dropping from 8th to 10th. Grachov up to 8th, Valia 9th, Rosé now 10th. Cerruti just out of the points. And also she was a recent winner at the Nürburgring. She competes in the VLN series in Germany, the Endurance series. She won at the Nürburgring at the wheel of a BMW Z4. I was saying yesterday it's been a while since she drove a front-wheel drive car, but it's all coming back to her. So there you see our point-scoring positions on the left of your screen as we concentrate on the battle for the lead. Comini with Morbidelli right up behind him. Less than 0.3 of a second a gap officially. I suspect it's a little tighter than that. Bellicchi 3rd, Oriola 4th, Gleeson 5th, Genet 6th, Avanasius 7th, Grachov 8th, Valia 9th, Rosé having dropped to 10th. There you see the Ford Focus beached in the gravel. So Romanini on the previous lap, unseen by the cameras, having spun into the gravel. There he is. So the cameras did see him. We're just seeing it as a replay now, just getting it sideways and sliding off into the gravel. He's being recovered at the moment, but look, these two with what's a couple of meters between them. Stefano Comini in the Seat, Gianni Morbidelli in the Honda. Then it's Bellicchi, still with Pepe Oriola breathing down his neck. So 3-4 battles developing within the top 10. Comini and Morbidelli, Bellicchi and Oriola. Then it's a 3-way scrap for 5th, 6th and 7th between Gleeson, Genet and Avanasiev, as Valia dives up the inside of Grachov, and Valia, I think, outbraked himself, having to run really wide at turn 1. So I don't think he made that stick. So Grachov still holds on to 8th place as Morbidelli weaves around Comini. Bellicchi has a look as well, but Comini's lead is still intact. Morbidelli has a look down to this risky overtaking point. The tight right-hander at turn 3. Morbidelli has a look, but Comini has the line for the right-hander. Edging Morbidelli out. Bellicchi holds on to 3rd. And those meters that I mentioned having closed to centimeters between the pair now. Morbidelli desperate for another win. Comini equally desperate to deny him that victory and take another maximum 25 points here at the Red Bull Ring as he slides wide, gets onto the gravel, and Morbidelli seizes his chance. Gets onto the line, sticks to that line, and Morbidelli takes the lead. Comini's turn now to kick himself for just running too wide. Hopefully we'll see that back as a replay. Bellicchi now all over the back of his teammate's car. This is the incident. Comini runs wide, just goes over the curb, touches the gravel, and Morbidelli seizes a chance, but it's nip and tuck. Morbidelli now leads too much of a gap, and he has Bellicchi up alongside him, going down the start-finish straight. Bellicchi will have taken 2nd place because it's a right-hander, remember, at turn 1. So Comini back in the lead. No contact between the pair, but it's Bellicchi now 2nd. Fantastic racing. We're on lap 10 of 14. Oriola also now breathing down Morbidelli's neck as the pressure is taken off. Comini just, whoa, what an incredible lap that was. Comini losing the lead to Morbidelli, who then in turn lost it back, and Beliki squeezing through to take second place. So it's target competition 1 and 2, Comini from Beliki, West Coast Racing Honda of Gianni Morbidelli third, Pepe Oriola, Kraft Bamboo Lukoil, Sayat just taking a look, but no, too far behind. So the battle for the lead now becoming a four-way affair, and those two battles I was talking about only a lap or so ago have closed up into one battle, as Comini tries to put some distance between him, and Morbidelli makes contact with Beliki, tries to go through on the inside line. I think he's got the line. That's where Comini lost the lead last lap round, and Morbidelli uses the advantage this time to move up into second place once again. There was a slight squirreling from Beliki's car going around that left-hander, and that's what opened the door to Morbidelli. So Morbidelli back up into second place, Beliki third, Oriola fourth, as they come around turn 9 to complete lap 10. Comini then just under a second clear of Morbidelli. Beliki third, then it's Oriola, then Avanasieff, Genet, Gleeson, and then Grachev, Velia and Rosé running as 8th, 9th, 10th for the Liqui Moly team. The team now running 2 Volkswagens and a Seat. Team boss Franz Enschler was here earlier in the weekend. Now that's where Comini retook the lead from Morbidelli in that incredible lap. 1, 2, 3, 4 then. Comini, Morbidelli, Beliki, Pepe Oriola, Avanasieff and Genet, with Genet sporting damage from contact. And we didn't see that incident. And then a slight gap back to Gleeson, with Grachev, Velia and Rosé occupying the remainder of the point-scoring positions. Not surprisingly though, we're staying with the battle for the lead, and I think that was Romanini in the distance, having got going again in the Focus. No, indeed, it was a Seat. Comini then, from Morbidelli. Then a gap has opened up to Beliki and Oriola. Beliki now defending from the aggressive charge of Pepe Oriola. Genet having lost out to Avanasieff. We've hardly mentioned the success ballast situation here in the Red Bull Ring. And that's one of the target competition guest entries, as it were. That's Gabriele Marotta, car number 40 in the green target competition car, very sensibly not getting involved, although at the moment he's just ahead of Beliki, who will be anxious to get him off the line. Indeed, there he goes. Beliki and Oriola going through. So Comini then and Morbidelli. This battle that's raged for much of this first race at the Red Bull Ring. Comini still leads for Morbidelli, but I suspect that that battle is far from settled. Then a slight gap to Beliki, and then Pepe Oriola, Avanasieff and Genet. Genet in the heaviest car in terms of success ballast, carrying 30 kilos. Pepe Oriola carrying 20, not that you'd know. And then Stefano Comini carrying 10 after that win in race 2 in Sochi. But again, not that you'd know that he's carrying that success ballast. No mistake this time from Comini. The gap back down to around 0.3 of a second. Avanasieff having dropped back to 7th, so Genet and Gleeson both having passed Avanasieff. As we look at, and there is the battle. There's Genet, there's Gleeson, there's Avanasieff, and then Grachev right behind Avanasieff, and then Velia running very wide. And there have been warnings throughout the weekend about track limits from race director Marc Diaz. this race, as you still see the body damage on Jordi Janet's car. There is Marotta, 47 years of age, on the entry list as being from Monaco, which is where he lives at the moment, but the flag on the car says Italy. He was born in Rome. Oh, very, very wide. That was Comini forced very wide by Morbidelli, but he doesn't lose the place. So Comini then from Morbidelli, centimetres again between the two as they head down to the right-hander at turn 3. Was there contact? I don't think there was, but Morbidelli right up alongside the Seat, the Honda and the Seat trading. There's definitely contact this time as Comini defends the lead. So Comini then still from Morbidelli with Bellicchi third, Pepe Oriola fourth. We're on the penultimate lap of this 14-lap race. Target competition, West Coast Racing, target competition, Craft Bamboo Lukoil is how the teams stand in the top 4 places. But will Comini make it yet another victory? Or, and is that the sign of the tyres possibly going off the car? And Comini runs very, very wide, coming back in, but no, he's lost the lead to Morbidelli. There was I just talking about tyres, and the car seems to be moving around the track a lot more than it was. Bellicchi alongside his teammate, but I think Comini's held the place. Indeed he has. But Morbidelli has taken the lead just as they come across the finish line to start the final lap. It's Morbidelli now from Comini, from Bellicchi, from Pepe Oriola. And this has turned into a fantastic touring car race, I have to say. The first race of a pair has the possibility of being quite pedestrian. Not so in this case here at the Red Bull Ring. We've seen incidents aplenty, we've seen the lead change hands. We've actually only seen the one retirement of Danny Nagy. But Gianni Morbidelli, who was happy enough to be on pole position, who was concerned about his start, and it seemed rightfully so. But we're on the final lap, and Morbidelli is stretching his advantage over Stefano Comini. But we've seen several times during this race that nothing can be taken for granted. A slippery track surface, a lot of the drivers have been saying, and obviously with being first thing in the morning, tarmac's not had a chance to warm up. It's all the rubber on the track from yesterday's action, from not just TCR but from the European Le Mans Series, from the Formula Renault 3.5s that are here also. But we come down to turn 9 for the final time. This was where Comini lost the lead last time, and Pepe Oriola takes a look up the inside of Bellicchi as Gianni Morbidelli takes the checkered flag for yet another victory for the West Coast Racing Honda driver. Comini second, Bellicchi third. Oriola just misses out on third place, finishing fourth. Janet fifth, Gleason sixth. Avanasiev 7th, Grachov 8th, Valia 9th, Rosé 10th, and then missing out on the points are Michele Ceruti and Igor Shkuz 11th and 12th, with Gabriele Marotta and Diego Romanini 13th and 14th. That was action for you. You'll forgive me if I was a little breathless at various points during that race, but Gianni Morbidelli and Stefano Comini, what a race between the pair, and we really didn't know, even on that final lap, which way it was going to go. But it's the victory, and the 25 points go to Gianni Morbidelli, together with the 5 points for being quickest in qualifying. That'll be just what the Italian driver wanted. Comini will be wondering what on earth happened on several occasions during that race. But I do wonder whether he just slid wide, coming around to start lap 14, or whether the tyres were starting to have an issue. I wouldn't have thought it would be that bad. As I say, track temperature not that high this morning. It'll be very different for the race at 11:30. But Morbidelli won't care. All he saw was a gap and went for it. And so Morbidelli then taking the win from Stefano Comini, with Bellicchi third, so 2 cars in the top 3 for target competition. They'll be pleased with that, but Comini will be wondering what on earth happened. Why didn't he take the win? It was seemingly his for the taking, and yet it wasn't to be. And Morbidelli, as always on the slowing down lap, driving on the dirty line to pick up as much debris as possible, rubber and goodness knows what else, as we see the headlights flash as Morbidelli crosses the finish line, taking the checkered flag. You see the fist pumps and the congratulations from the pit wall. What a great race. What a way to start our race weekend here at the Red Bull Ring. As the cars come into the pits, the Austrian marshals waving the yellow flags, guiding them through to Parc Fermé. There is the result of round 15 of the TCR International Series. Gianni Morbidelli in the West Coast Racing Honda taking the victory from Stefano Comini, Andrea Bellicchi third, Pepe Oriola fourth, Jordi Genet fifth. Then it's Gleason, Avanasieff, Grachov, Velia and Rosé occupying the remainder of the top 10 point scoring places. But congratulations go to Gianni Morbidelli. His teammate Igor Shkuz, thanks to that grid place drop, finishing outside the points. As I say, the yellow flags of the marshals waving the cars through to Parc Fermé. Normally, the two races are back-to-back. But as I explained earlier, because of having to fit into the schedule, then we've a gap of a couple of hours between races 1 and 2. No work allowed to be done on the cars for an hour or so. And then Parc Fermé restrictions are lifted at around 10:15 for any repair work that needs to be done. And then not sure how bad the damage is on Nagy's car. Will he take the start of round 16? And a very determined, oh no you don't there from Stefano Comini. And just a reminder that Gianni Morbidelli can't have things his own way. Now this is where Comini ran wide, right onto the Austrian flag portion of the runoff tarmac. He rejoins safely in second place, but that's where the lead changed hands for the final time. So Comini still leads the Drivers' Series, but the advantage is now down to 3 points. It's Morbidelli back up into second place. Oriola drops to third. Genet fourth, Bellicchi fifth, Gleason sixth. Then, as I mentioned earlier, Michel Nukia not here, seventh, Avanasieff eighth, Grachov ninth, and Velia 10th. But look at those top positions, something like 30 points separating the top four, 25 points on offer, remember, for a race win, 5 for pole position in qualifying. And so will anybody else repeat Gianni Morbidelli's feat in Monza of scoring a perfect 55 points from the race weekend, 2 race wins and pole position? It's a tricky one, but as Morbidelli shown, not completely impossible. The car's then heading for Parc Fermé after this first of our 2 races here at the Red Bull Ring. The facilities here, absolutely first rate, you have to say. And the circuit first opening in 1969 as the Österreich Ring, much longer. And then its second incarnation as the Eins Ring, and then being closed for several years and being resurrected by the Red Bull organization as the Red Bull Ring. Target competition having a relatively healthy lead. It looks healthy enough. 28 points over Craft Bamboo Lukoil with West Coast Racing in third. 58 points separating those 3 with Liqui-Moly Team Engstler way back in 4th place. But as with the Drivers' Series, the Teams' Series far from decided. And after the Red Bull Ring, remember, 3 race meetings in the Far East. Let's head down to the Parc Fermé area. Gianni Morbidelli is talking to Alfredo Filippone.
Gianni Morbidelli, what a race, what a fight. You must be happy.
Yeah, I'm happy for the result. Less for the race. I made some mistakes, and well, it's important to score points, to put in the pocket another victory is important for me, for the team. So we carry on, and we see now we have another race, difficult race. It was a really tough race, this one. So we will see. We will start from the 10th place, so it will be even more difficult.
Last couple of races were very exciting. That was real touring car racing, yeah?
Yeah, this is a touring car. You know, this is TCR, and this is what we offer to the people that follow us.
Well done. All the best. Thank you.
Big smile on the face of Gianni Morbidelli. A tough race, he says. And Greg Peterson there, a huge hug from him. Congratulations then to Gianni Morbidelli.